Subscribe to our channel. Click on bell icon, you never miss any update. Hello. In this video we are going to talk about very important or frequently asked manual testing interview questions. I have splitted this into two parts. The first one will be for the beginners module, for the freshers I can say, or just 1 year experience or fresher who has just want to start their career. Okay, what are the frequent questions they will get in the interview? So those questions I have listed up. This is one. In the next video I have given interview questions or frequently asked questions for the advanced level, for the experienced 3 or 4 years experience faces an interview, what type of questions he will receive. Okay, so that's going to discuss in the next video. This first video is all about this first part is all about your manual testing interview questions for beginners. Okay, yes, and all this 20 questions what I have segregated, all these 20 questions are from my course. Okay, so if you have taken up my course, then this all 20 questions I guess you can answer them easily. Okay. Yep. So I will give you the questions and even I'm going to brief the answers too. So let's start. Manual testing interview questions, beginners module. The foremost question, interviewer may ask you, like, can you explain what is SDLC? Simple. SDLC is not any rocket science. SDLC is a process. It's a structure to develop an application. Yes, means a guideline which helps you to develop an application, or in a simple words I can say a planning which helps you to develop an application. Whenever you plan, okay, there are high chances that we may reach the goal. What is goal here? Developing an application within a given cost, time and budget. So that can be achieved whenever we select one SDLC model, or if you go through this software development lifecycle, it is a phase-wise development structure. Okay, yes, or simple words, planning or a protocol which is used to develop an application, as simple as that. Okay, next, what are the phases we have in SDLC? The general phases are like this: requirement collection, requirement analysis, designing, coding, testing, release and maintenance. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so if you want to go deeper into it, you know what is requirement collection, analysis, designing, coding, testing, release and maintenance, right? Yes. Next, importance of software tester and software testing. I guess this I have explained in my course of class 1. I guess you people remember it. Okay, so let me explain you that. Yes, software testing is very much important. Without performing a testing on the application, we can't release that into the market. Okay, so anyways, there is no concept of bug free. But a software tester performs an application, or he performs testing on the application to minimize or bring that bugs to zero. Without testing an application, assume that yes, the developer will also do the unit testing and integration testing, but unit testing and integration testing is a code type of testing which generally works for those particular modules. But to test an application like a user, from the user perspective, yes, software testing is needed and a tester is very much required to perform this activity. So as a tester, we need to test an application like an end user, like a user perspective. So here we are a person as a tester where we are going to check whether the given application is developed according to the client requirements or not. Developer has developed the application, but we need to decide that whether it is really developed according to the client requirements or not. Okay, then only it will be released into the market. Yes, software testing and tester plays a very important role in development process. Next, what is feasibility study? Generally, feasibility study is conducted by BA. Where and when it will be conducted? So as discussed, after done with requirement collection, before going to the analysis. Requirement collection in the sense taking the requirement from the client. Your BA will take the requirement from the client. Up till now it's fine. After taking the requirement from the client, what your BA is do? Okay, so next you need to do the feasibility study, whether we can do it or not, whether it is feasible to the company or not, right? Yes. So client may ask you for some requirement. Client may ask you that my application should be tested in Selenium. So if you have checked your organization, we have manual testers. So we'll plan that if you hire some automation testers, will it work? Client asks you to develop that in .NET. You have Java developers at your end. We'll plan like if you hire the technology developers, will it work? Okay, means in the feasibility study, after taking the requirement, they will check point by point, right? Human resources, budget, technology, whatnot. If everything is good and fine, then they will move on to the next phase. So feasibility study where it declares whether to the project is accepted or rejected. This is the phase. Okay, it happens in between requirement collection and analysis. After taking the requirements, yes, before going to the analysis, this feasibility study happens. And moreover, generally it should be done by BA, but in my observation, I have observed that people from different environments, I mean to say senior analyst, right, a senior developer, okay, like everyone will sit together and decide whether to intake the project or to reject the project. Okay, so means study happens on all the factors: budget, technology, resources, everything, right? Next, what are the SDLC models? Can you please explain? So what is an SDLC model actually? SDLC model contains same SDLC, the phases what we have went through: requirement collection, analysis, designing, coding, testing, release and maintenance. Even the SDLC models also contains these phases. But what are the models? Models are nothing but like how to use the phases, as simple as that. Okay, you know what is requirement collection, you know what is requirement analysis. In one model, what I do is I'll take the requirement collection once, but I will do analysis multiple times. We have a name for it. You got the point? In some cases, we'll take multiple requirements analysis, multiple requirement gathering also. So we have a name for that. Okay, in a simple words, see, a construction is going on, a 10-story building and a single story building, right? Yes, both may follow the civil rules, both may follow that SDLC pattern, but the sketch, elevation, process, right, developing structure, everything will be different when compared to a 10-story building to a 1-story building. Same like that, depending on the complexity of the application what you are trying to develop, okay, or depending on your previous experience on that particular type of application. Okay, yes, depending on the requirements, we can select any of these models. Like we have waterfall model, iterative, prototype, spiral, RAD, V and Agile. As we have discussed, V and Agile plays a very prominent and important role in complete development process. And moreover, yes, Agile is a very much famous flavor now, famous development life cycle now, and a lot of people are using this SDLC Agile model, okay, or we can call it as Scrum model. Right now it is being used in a wide scope in a lot of organizations. Okay, so these are what the SDLC models are. Next, so what is verification testing? In generally in the V model, we have something called verification and validation testing. Verification is something like a static testing, means verifying the documents. The definition, see, verification is a process to check the correctness and completeness of the documents which are prepared to develop the project. Okay, so verification is also known as a static testing. Generally, verification is done on documents, each and every document which are useful to develop an application. On all those, we are going to do the verification to check whether this document is clear or not. Why? Because see, assume that a FRS document is there, and unfortunately, while developing this FRS document, we have some mistake in that FRS document. System analyst has made some mistake in the FRS document, or a wrong functionality has been given in the FRS document. So developer will develop the application with that wrong functionality itself, and tester will also approve that because that is there in the FRS document. At the end, client will receive a wrong project. Okay, to overcome that, if I would have verified it, right, then I would have stopped the bug to be happen, right? So verification is something like a prevention approach. You are stopping the bug to be happen, right? Yes. So that's the reason all documents should undergo verification, all documents. Okay, but who will verify it? See, as a tester, if I write a test case document, my lead will verify it, right? Yes, FRS document is there. Yes, the business people verify it. Developers related documents are there. Yes, it will be done in the development department. Okay, so every document will undergo verification in its department, as simple as it. Okay, next, validation. So can you explain what is validation? Validation is also known as dynamic testing. Validation comes into picture after performing or after developing the application, when the code is in executable mode. Okay, so this validation is also known as dynamic approach or dynamic testing approach. We have unit testing, integration testing, functional performance, security testing falls under this dynamic testing. Next, can you explain white box and black box testing techniques? See, the first point before to this, we need to optimize the testing. Exhaustive testing is not possible. To optimize the testing, yes, developer should have some techniques. Same like that, to optimize the testing, tester should have some techniques, right? Yes, these are white box and black box are generally optimization testing techniques. Why? Because exhaustive is not possible in the organizations. Okay, yes. So white box testing technique is generally done by the developers on the source code, the code what they have written. On that code, source code, they are going to perform this white box testing. Generally unit testing or integration testing, all those falls under white box testing itself. Okay, yeah, but they use some techniques called statement coverage, loop coverage, path and branch coverage. Same like that, to perform a black box testing techniques, or to perform as a tester, if you want to perform a optimization of testing, then even you need to use some techniques like boundary value analysis, equivalence class partition, error guessing, state transaction table, decision table. This all falls under black box testing. So black box testing says that yes, anyways we need to do the optimal testing. These are the optimization testing techniques. So black box testing says that, see, to test an application you need not to have any programming language knowledge. Just having the client requirements are good enough. You can start away, do the testing. Yes, that's true. See, application is developed with .NET. So I need not to learn .NET to test it. Application is developed with Java. I need not to learn Java to test it. Right? Yes, as simple as that. Clear? Next. See, I'm a bit fast on all these. Why? Because we have covered this excellently in our classes, right? So just I'm giving you the hints here. Okay, you can go through research and learn about that. Next, boundary value analysis and equivalence class partition are most commonly used techniques to derive the test data. And very important question, they will give you some value and they may ask you to do the BVA for it, boundary value analysis. They may give you some information and they may ask you to do equivalence class partition of it, or they may ask you to derive the test data using ECP. Yes, it happens. Boundary value analysis and equivalence class partition are excellent black box testing techniques. Okay, so what does the boundary value analysis says? We'll say the theory part. You know how to derive the test data, so I'm not stressing. Boundary value analysis, this technique is used when there is input in terms of range or size. So what does BVA states that there are possibilities of errors in and around the boundary conditions. If you know that there are errors in and around the boundary conditions, so test near the boundaries. So what does it say? Test minimum, minimum minus 1, minimum plus 1, maximum, maximum minus 1, maximum plus 1. Then we'll get a 4 set of valid data and 2 invalid data to test an application. As simple as that. Next, we have an equivalence class partition. As the name indicates, we are going to partition the data. Means the data which exhibits the similar behavior, okay, will be written one side, and the data which gives some other similar behavior, yes, that will be written in the other group. Okay, so we are going to select one thing from this, one value from this group and other value from the other group, and we are going to test it. A simple patterning. Okay, see, if I say 8 into 18 is the age what it validates, technically below 18 everything is invalid, right? Above 80 also everything is invalid. So what is valid in between 18 to 80? Like this we are going to partitioning them. Okay, if I say 4 to 12 characters are valid, so any characters below 4 are invalid, any characters above 12 are invalid. So the characters which are 4 to 12 are valid. Okay, so if I say only alphanumeric are valid, so what all comes under invalid? 0 to 9 numbers are invalid, special characters are invalid, symbols are invalid. So it says only alphabets are valid. So A to Z means either A, B, C or combination of A and B or whatever you give it, okay, they exhibit the same behavior. Same like that. If you write anything from 0 to 9 or any special character, any symbol, it exhibits the same behavior, that is invalid. Clear? Yes, this is a very important one. BVA and ECP, a excellent black box testing techniques what we have. Generally, this is used to derive the test data in the organizations. Next. The 11th question is, can you explain the localization testing? Yes, indeed, this is very important. Some applications, the name itself indicates localization. What does it mean, localization? Application should adapt to your locality, to your localization. Means, see, if I open a website in India, a e-commerce website, it should show the price in Indian rupees. Right? If I open the same website in US, it should show me in dollars. If I open the same application in some other country, it should show their localization. Right? So just let me show you some examples of those websites. Say if I open a website here, so normally see it is showing the prices in Indian rupees 455 or 455 or something. If I open the same website in US, it will show in dollars. Yes, means it is adapting to our local convenient currency. Not only that, the date format, if you see some website like some Make My Trip or something else, and we are trying to book an international flight. So if I look at from India, it will show time according to my local standards, right? If I open the same website from US, it will show the time zone in that particular country. Means it will adopt this localization. Okay, yes. So technically saying the application becomes local to that environment. Okay, so it's majorly focusing on language, date, currency, date format, these factors what we need to check in the localization. Okay, next. Can you explain SDLC, software testing life cycle? You know, software development life cycle is a process, right? Is a cycle. In that cycle, testing is a phase. That phase has been further divided, and this phase has internal phases again. You got the point? Software testing life cycle is a phase in a software development life cycle. So let me show you what are the phases we have in software testing life cycle. These are the phases what we have in software testing life cycle. Test initiation means starting of the test, which is generally done by the test manager. Test planning, which is generally done by your lead by releasing a test plan document. Then we are going to write the test cases. Okay, designing the test cases. After writing the test cases, when the application is available, we are going to execute the test cases, then defect reporting it and closing it. This is actually what happens. Next, these are very important questions from now. These are all almost related to the test cases and that information. What is the test data? Yes, test data is nothing but, what is test data? Test data is nothing but the data which is used to test an application, that can be derived using BVA and ACP concepts. When there is a huge data to be tested, yes, we use BVA and ACP concept to derive the test data, or technically the term test data itself says that the data which is used to test an application. Okay, yes. Next, what is test case? It's very important, and yes, really you need to know about this, what exactly the test case is, and explain the test case documents fields. Okay, this too I'll be covering it in the one question, what is test case, and explain the test case document fields. Okay, this too I'm going to explain you as one question. So let's see. First of all, what is test case? You need to understand this, a very important fact. Test case, a test case is nothing but a document with unexpected result, right? Yes. So from where you'll get these requirements, or from the expectation from FRS, BRS, use case or user stories. Perfect. So a document with an expected result. When we can expect something from the system? Whenever we have some user action. Means whenever we perform any action on the application, then we can expect something, right? So further we'll modify it. A test case is nothing but a document with user action and expected result. In some cases, to get one expected result, we may do multiple actions, right? Like writing the username, writing the password, clicking on sign in. This result to the login means we may have multiple statements or multiple transactions with a single step. So a test case is nothing but a document of sequence of steps or series of steps with the user action and subsequent response. Okay. Generally, we have positive and negative type of test cases. That is nothing but a valid and invalid test cases. So the rules of test cases are test case should be simple and easy, and generally we can write in the Excel sheet or we can write in Jira or ALM or any other subsequent tools. So these are all the fields what we have in the test case document. Test case ID, a unique ID which should follow a naming convention. Test case description, your core intention, goal or scope why we are writing the test case. Step name, a generally uses what you call a sequence of step description and expected result. Next, test data, the data which is used to test an application. Step description, user action, expected result, what we are expecting from the system. Up till here, writing the test case. After that, actual result means once we execute the step description on the application, right, we are going to get an actual result that will be recorded in the actual result field. Okay, then after we are going to compare expected and actual. If both are identical, then it is pass, else it is fail. This is the document how it looks like, a typical test case document on the screen. What is use case? Use case may be a general part of general part of FRS, or they may give you a separate document also as a use case. So which gives you an actor action and system response, what a user is doing on the application and how the system is intended to give you the result. Or if I click on login, what should happen? Okay, that is given as a use case. Means actor action and system response, what a user is doing and how the system reacts. That is what a use case is. Clear? Then what is FRS or functional requirement document? Yes, a functional requirement document is a very important document generally, which is developed by a system analyst, which contains a clear functionalities of an application, what client want and how it should function. Each and every functionality is given in the FRS document. It is a raw material for you. If you understand the FRS document, testing an application is very much easier. Okay, yes. Then they may ask you some fields about the test case document. Some fields on the FRS document. Okay, yes. And few more questions on the FRS document. There are chances the interview may ask you on that. Okay, next. So what is a test scenario? 19th questions. I have skipped 17th question. 17 and 20 will explain you at once. Okay, so I'm doing it 19th question now. What is a test scenario? See, there is a sequence. First, requirement or functionality that will be further splitted as test scenarios. Okay, this test scenarios will contain the test cases. So one test scenario may contain one or multiple test cases. Okay, so what does it mean? A huge requirement is called test scenario. The test scenario is further split as test cases. Okay, yes, that is simple. A huge requirement is a test scenario. A huge requirement is further split as test cases. So this test cases covers test scenario. Okay, and it is very easy for tracking also whenever we want to track. Okay, so we map test cases and test scenario and it's easy to track. Simple words, test scenario is a huge requirement that will be further split as test cases. As simple as that. Next, they may ask you something called requirement traceability matrix. What is requirement traceability matrix? It's simple, a mapping between the requirements and the test cases, or mapping between the functionalities and the test cases. For a certain functionality, how many test cases are being covered? Okay, or vice versa. A certain test cases is covered to how many functionalities? Vice versa. Okay, it's simple. Whenever someone asks you what is a traceability matrix, requirement traceability matrix, it's a mapping between the requirements and the test cases. Okay, simple. Next, we are trying to talk about what is bug or defect, and can you explain about bug life cycle. This is the most common interview questions what you get. Okay, so let me explain this 17th and 20th question before stopping this beginners module of interviews. Okay, so in the next module I am going to talk about more advanced interview questions which is helpful for the interview purpose, like retesting, regression testing. I am going to cover in the next module. Okay, we can call it as an intermediate or experience level interview questions will be covered there. Okay, yes. So before that, let me explain you about what is bug and how the bug life cycle will go on. Bug or defect, generally in simple terms, when application is mismatched with your expected result, when application is malfunctioning or not behaving properly intended to do. Okay, so we are expecting it to do some work and it is not working as expected, then obviously that is affected with a bug. Generally, wrong coding or mistake by the developers during development phase which leads to the bug. Means if you have any mistakes in the code, yes, obviously it reflects as a bug. So what is bug life cycle? It's simple, very simple. It's a process. Okay, after detecting a defect by the tester, what are the phases it will go through? Okay, that phases we call it as a life cycle. So the purpose of this defect life cycle is to easily coordinate the bug status, okay, between the teams or to one which has been assigned to. And here we have a new status. Whenever we provide a new status as a tester, in the sense we have identified a new bug. So technically that is assigned to a lead, and this lead will approve it, the bug what you have given. This is a life cycle what I am trying to explain you. Then it will go on to the development team, and development team will not take your bugs directly. They will make some meetings on that. Okay, yes. So the status what they put is open. They will keep an open status in the bug reporting tool or the channel what you have used to report the bug. Okay, and then after development team will analyze it. If they feel that comfort with that, then they will intake it, or else they may say that rejected, saying that it's not a bug, you have given wrongly. Duplicate, maybe you have done it earlier or your colleague has given the same bug. Or deferred, it may be a bug or whatever it may be, we'll see it later on. Okay, just postponing. So if in progress, in the sense if they have accepted, they will fix it. The developer will take his time and he will fix it. After fixing it, it will deploy to the testing team. Okay, first we'll do sanity or smoke test on it, then we perform retesting and regression testing on that. Okay, then if everything is fine, tester will keep a status as verified and he will close it. If he is not satisfied with that, he is going to reopen the bug, okay, until the process keep on going on until it get closed. Okay, yes, this is the bug life cycle, as simple as that. Okay, now I have covered almost 20 questions here, 20 or 21 questions approximately in this video. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to take a live streaming classes, or if you want to buy my course video lectures, yes, visit my website at kirantestingacademy.com. You can find all the details in the description. Yes, you can simply go through them. Okay, fine. I can meet you in the advanced level or intermediate level of interview questions focused on manual testing. Bye for now.